Go ahead and set up my dynamometer controller interface. So I'm going to use the SCM NI Software Calibration Management, or SCM console, to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for the target. And I can see I basically have 4 different targets listed here. 2 of them are actually the host computer itself. That's to run NICast. Since I'm running NICast runtime, that's actually running on the host machine. One of them is the Nissan controller. I said this is a Mercedes-Benz engine. It's actually built by Nissan Infiniti in Tennessee. It's a Mercedes-Benz design. And then the third option here I have is my C-Rio 9033, which is my dynamometer controller. So once I select the target, I'll do that. I'll click OK. And then I'll have to come up and select the host that I want. So I'll have to navigate on disk to the directory where I have those files stored. And I have to assign for the SCM console both a VI for it to load, and then a pairing file which will pair the cal points on the RT controller to the controls and indicators on the RT host. Once I do that, my run button lights up, and I can turn this on, and up will pop my dynamometer control screen that I have set up. So I can put this SCM console in what we call mini mode, and it looks like this. And basically it just gives you more real estate, and you can click this button and it'll expand it back out to the full console or put it back in mini mode. So I can look at my dynamometer settings, and right now it's set to 2,000 RPM. And the engine is currently turning about 1,100 RPM. That's because we have a water brake dynamometer, so it doesn't have the ability to drive the engine at whatever speed we're commanding. We're reliant on the engine to power the system. So if I set this to, well, first let me spin the engine up a little bit by opening the throttle. And you can see that my engine speed has gone up to 2,400 RPM, and the dynamometer is trying to control it now to 2,000 RPM. So we're going to go ahead and bring that engine speed down to 1,800 RPM so that we can look at some things at kind of a highway cruising sort of a condition. Right now, we have the engine set up at an operating condition of about 5. I'm actually going to go to 7% throttle. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cough today. My intake manifold absolute pressure is at about a half a bar, half an atmosphere or so of pressure. I'm making about 1.5 or 1.6 kilowatts of indicated power. My NMEP value is about 200 kPa. Pumping mean effective pressure is about 60 or so kPa, and the gross mean effective pressure is about 200, is the sum of those two, so about 260, 270 kPa, somewhere in there. You'll notice that the engine just stopped, and that, believe it or not, was somewhat by design. We have the ability to code faults into the system. And what happened is I forgot to turn on the coolant control. This particular engine has an ECU-driven thermostat, and the engine got up to 95 Celsius, and the faults that we have on the engine basically shut off the fuel and spark to it and caused it to quit running.